Hi, is anybody home out there? Is there any sound coming through? It's okay. Well, welcome to a new show which is starting today. Right now, this is the first pilot of it. I have no idea what's going to happen here. It is a news show, but Fridays are different. Fridays are very special here. We get to go on art class. We get to go to town, do a little shopping. And right now, my home is closed. It's closed. Well, it's closed down while they spray for insects. I will test it a little later this afternoon. I will walk over there and breathe the atmosphere, and if I do not faint, excuse me, I'm feeling playful. But this morning, after 5 minutes, the guy, even though I was on one end of the house and the guy was on the other end of the house, he said we have to stay out for 4 hours, but after 5 minutes of him starting his processes, I started to fall down into a faint, a real one. So my heart started beating, you know, like your heart does when it feels like you're going to fall down, and that's going to be it. So I quickly threw all my things together, and I decided to just join in the art class, and who knows what happens on Fridays. However, we're expecting lots of wonderful things to come in shipping. That's true. I have no idea what's happening in the news today, but I sort of, you know, I can read it here. When I go home, it's going to be like a Diablo game. There are going to be so many dead bugs. It is going to be like an absolute massacre has happened. So I'll find the dead bugs. They did not spray the computer area, but whatever they are using to get whatever critters are in our walls, it is very, very powerful. And then, of course, I think it felt like it had like an oily tinge, just sort of like a shellac-ness, you know, so a fume came out. And that will eventually dry, and then it will be perfectly okay, because they only spray inside the walls. They're making sure that they can get inside the walls. That's why we had to move. I was going to say haul ass and take everything out very fast, but we did. And so it's only 3 rooms, but it's powerful. So it's going to be an adventure getting back on my computer. I'm sort of excited. In the meantime, I'm excited about this new show, which has a new name, and it will be appearing as soon as we get around to naming it. It is MollyMidway News Whenever. And the whenever part is right now on Friday. It tends to be about 2 o'clock because that's about the time we get back from the art class. So in the meantime, you guys probably know everything that's going on in the world, and I have no idea yet. I can tell you all about Grass Valley, and but not all about it, but it's hot. It's hot. It's summertime. It's cool in the morning, and even though I still think it's probably it's between 88 and 92. That's a guess, because it would be nice if, like, when you traveled around, like, there are clocks in stores and stuff sometimes, that if they had a temperature gauge, so you can actually know if you're having a hot flash or it's hot, right? So I broke out into a sweat, but it was not a cold sweat, it was a hot sweat. So, and I just had a very salty lunch, so it'll all even out in the end, isn't that right? In the meantime, thousands file past Kennedy casket at viewing in Boston. This is from Yahoo. Oh, somebody sent me an article from the LA Times. I looked at it really early this morning before all of the circus starts. And I was going to print it out then, but I didn't. So I will get to it later. But I kind of think the front page of the LA Times is cool. And this was a specific article. I forget about what, so that will be something I get to look forward to because I really like news. So anyway, let's see. Bomb makes August deadliest month for U.S. and Afghanistan. One bomb? Yeah, well. A boy missing in North Carolina. Waves caused by tropical storm Danny. He's missing. Okay. Well, kidnapped suspect's home. Searched for murder evidence. And these are just the little blurbies that they, you know, this came in so many minutes ago. You don't have to click on the story, thank goodness. I mean, who would want to read some of these stories? Some of them are, gruesome. I don't read them. I try to just get an overview picture because I just sort of want to know, like, some stuff about life, the universe, and everything, and not get too involved if it gets really grody. But at my house right now, it's really grody. It's going to get wonderful again, though. I can't believe it. It really is like living in a castle, because I didn't know we have, like, all this wood, but behind the wood there was a whole other world, and then behind that we had Batman and his whole family and all the kids. We have a family of foxes living in the back. There is a hedge. I showed it to Jewel. I mean, people don't believe me, and I talk a lot, so sometimes people will just go, oh, would she shut up? But there's a wonderful hedge of wisteria. It hardly ever blooms. But the animals, the foxes and the deer, because I keep the food out there so they can get to it, the foxes and the deer have made a tunnel through this big wisteria bush. It's as big as a huge blackberry bush, and if you've ever seen those are huge. But you wouldn't want to live in a blackberry bush unless you had scales, because those prickly. But wisteria, not. And so I know that's where they live, and I know that's where the moms and the baby deer stay, and I know also it's where the foxes. And one time I met up with the mother fox. I surprised her. She had come close to the house to check things out, and I came around the corner, and it was dark, right? And I heard this growl, and I said, I do not recognize this growl. And then I saw her, and I saw her one time in the day, and I saw that, and she had that same growl. So it's a family of foxes. They're red foxes, and they enjoy our leftovers from meals that we have. I do not take a lot of meat products and bone products out there. I don't want to attract a lot of carnivores, but I definitely take the lettuce out and give it to the deer because they like it. And the deer are very shy. They stay their distance away from the house. And so, I mean, I feel like I got it pretty good. But then my room, see, my vision's been changing. I've had airbrush vision for 5 years. And when I put on, like, glasses and stuff so I can see details, like, I've been faking it like I can read, right? I tried to go on vacation with my mom, and I couldn't read the book, I was just staring out the window. And then finally I started talking, and my mom got really upset by it. So we came back. She was used to me with a nose in my book, the silent, for my whole life. So I still go off by myself. Let's see if that's good. Okay, study, job insecurity, worse for health than unemployment. Twin sisters take down toughest criminals in U.S. See, these are stories I don't know. You guys probably do know. I did want to do the top 10 on the LA Times that somebody sent on, but we'll get to it later. It's sometimes kind of ragged on Fridays. That's why I'm going to try a new approach, gradually. Cal State, Dominique Hills loses it. 21-year-old man slain in East Oakland, and public can weigh in on Mount Diablo schools. I think I drove through Mount Diablo area, and they probably have a lot of homeschools because that was a big, big, big wilderness. The drive through there took forever. And I had my book, right, but I couldn't read, so it was NPR. Finally, we got home. Let's see if there's the Pope has not said a word about Kennedy's death, but it takes a while for things to process, and silence is what happens during the first section. People take rebirth during the second section when the rock and roll starts. Start about the fourth day. It depends on people's taste. I mean,